Fire and Ice, welcome to Smallville, issue number 6. This also happens to be the finale, which makes sense. I mean, we can only do so much in the Smallville setting. If they come back, which I think they will, because part of me believes the DC Universe, the new slate of movies, is headed towards JLI. These two could definitely fit in there somewhere, so I think we're going to see them doing something eventually again on a Justice League book. Whatever the new iteration of that looks like, I think that's where that's headed. But until then, we have the finale of this issue, which is okay. I think it wrapped up as good as it could. You know, I don't know. I've been really interested in this series. I think it was really cool when it was like, here is Fire having like a midlife crisis, like the Zillennial panic, like she doesn't fit into any generation, doesn't know how to be modern, doesn't know how to be young or like old school. She's trapped. And them trying to come to like the city to do like some like classic reinvention. That's all really fun. And then the issue's like, actually, a creature from Ice's past was tracking her through like the Norwegian woods, and it came to Smallville, and like a weird mask that they got from Kui Island in their JLI adventures, it took over Rocky, and now they have to fight two threats. And you're like, that's fine. And that's superhero books, but at the end of the day, you just kind of like wish it was standard stuff of like these two people out of time, out of place in any like real generation, trying to find themselves in a new world. I think that's more interesting than just the big fight at the end, which is fine. So, you know, they get attacked by the big mask. It's controlling Rocky. Charlie shows up to help them out a little bit. They manage to get away. Then we cut to see what Martha is up to, because Martha's a huge component of this book as well. And the weird Frost guy is after Martha. He's like, I hunger for these things and these children. You are the most strong one here. I want to eat you. One of the kids stands up to like stand up for Martha, and he gets like corrupted. So he starts being like, I'm hungry. And Martha's like, okay, you can have me, just don't have the kids. So she tries to lure the Frost Beast back in. Like, I can sense your pain. I want to be a part of you, and it's going to devour Martha. But then she stabs it in the eye, and she runs away with the kids. We also see that as this is going on, Superman is having a fight with, like, Metallo or something. Yeah, you get it, because when Martha exits the hospital that she's in with these kids, she's like, trust those girls, Clark. I trust them to do the right thing. Essentially saying to her son, I know you're worried about the situation. They can handle it. So Martha runs out of there. She's with the kid who got corrupted. She starts talking to Fire and Ice. Essentially, she's like, I don't know how to help this kid. I don't know what to do. We could call Superman, but he's pretty preoccupied. There's really nothing we could do to save this situation. And you're like, okay, what are we going to do? We go back to, like, the bar because Charlie is, like, pouring drinks for everybody. And our team's trying to, like, formulate a plan. And you're like, what? We're going to make a plan? The idea is kind of like if we can use like Honey, who has like the ability to like control people, then maybe we can like persuade the thing to let go of Rocky. But it has to be like a strong enough connection. But Tamarinda doesn't want to make the call because she had a fight with Honey and she left after they slept together. You get it? Like that stuff to me, that's the interesting stuff. Where I'm like, yeah, let's deal with like, there's a threat outside. We're too scared to call our kind of like situationship about it. And that's more fun than the actual fight. So then we cut back to Martha and the kid. The Frost being is hunting them. The kid is hungry, so Martha lets the kid bite her finger. And I'm like, that is so cool. This is a great depiction of Martha. She is not useless. She is doing stuff. It's so incredibly fun to see that. She is so capable and strong in this issue. So the Kui Island mask captures them again. And they're kind of trapped, but it's also part of their plan. So they're going to try to get a hold of Honey to maybe figure out how to deal with this situation. We also start to realize that, like, the ideals of Rocky also coincide with the mask. So they're, like, thinking they're, like, one and the same, which is kind of weird. But as they're, like, distracted, it is Elron who manages to get the mask off of her, but it doesn't do any good. So, like, the powers are still within Rocky, so it's kind of still like a struggle for them to fight. That's what they're going to do for a bit. They're just going to fight. And you're like, okay, it's kind of fun. We get the wrap up with like the Tamarind and Honey plot where it's like, oh, she wasn't lying because Elron records everything. And it's like, oh, she didn't set fire. It was Rocky with the mask, so it's okay. Now Honey's going to help out. And then Martha shows up with the kid, and everything's kind of going to work out. They realize what's happening to Rocky and why she's no longer in control is because she has a splinter inside of her finger that's connecting her to the roots of the plant. So they have to pull that out. How's that going to go? We'll see. But you see that through the powers of, what's her name? Gorilla Grodd's sister and Honey, they team up because, is it Linka? Linka? I can't remember her name, but Grodd's sister has the telekinesis, so she teams up with Honey, and it basically turns everybody in Smallville out of like their hunger craze, and they revert back to normal. It destroys the Frost Demon, so they easily defeat him now, and they separate Rocky from the Kua 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 mask. So now everything's kind of wrapping up nice and easy. Got no problem with that. They managed to save her, but they still have like something they gotta do. What are we gonna do with like the roots of this thing? That is when Fire has a brilliant idea. When we were doing like the footage in the caves, we saw that there was like endless caves and like miles of caverns and stuff. So if you, the mask, want to like grow your roots in like these caves, just go ahead and do it. Because you just want somewhere to be free and to live. So it separates from Rocky and it heads into the caves. And they did it. And everyone's okay and everyone's happy. Everything's back to normal. It worked really well. We have a good time. And we just wrapped it up pretty quick. That's the book. We just wrap it up like that. It's like, okay, we teamed up to solve the problem. And I'm not doing it justice just by talking over it, but because there's a lot more dialogue in between the scenes and everything. But I don't think this is my favorite issue of the book. I really don't, which is really sad to say. I do kind of like the ending where they actually solve the day, and Fire's like, you know what? We should like clean everything up before Captain Underpants shows up and gives us a spanking. And then Superman shows up, he's like, hey, that's what my wife calls me. Nice work, ladies. So I guess Fire and Ice are leaving Smallville now? There's gonna like do something else? I guess, because Fire indicates that they should set up a new league. Start something with like a big facility and blah, blah, blah. Just what I've been saying they should do, and that's what I think they're going to do. And we'll see them show up again. I do like this book. As much as this issue made me go, okay, I guess we only have 6 issues to tell this story. I think if you cut out the like subplot with the character from Ice's past, so we just focus on like the mask and Rocky to like really build up the idea of friendship, it could kind of work a little bit better and flow a little bit better in this final episode or in this final issue. But you got some cool stuff with Martha out of that, so I can't be too upset with it. I think it's fine. This series, it's not going to be for everybody. It definitely feels like the oddball in like the current crop of DC books, but I'm having fun, and I had fun with it the whole time. And I would like to see more of these characters. Like, they set up enough. They gave us, like, Ambush Bug and Lobo for a bit, so that's cool to see. It's just about female friendship, like the first 5 issues are at least, and I feel like this one kind of loses that plot until the very end, where they're like, well, we saved the day, on to the next adventure, which is kind of counterintuitive to what they were trying to do at the beginning of the book. But that's okay. It is what it is. I'm just glad this book exists, and I think it's going to make for a great trade, and people are going to read that probably. I hope so. I hope so. So, Fire and Ice, welcome to Smallville issue number 6. I am going to give a 7 out of 10. Now, thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.